So hello students, I'm Anubhav from Hitbullseye, and today I'm going to take a session on how to tackle the numerical ability section in the CUCET exam. Well, the notifications are yet to come out, and so is the syllabus that the questions that will be asked in the CUCET exam. But this is an indicative kind of a syllabus because all the experts at Hitbullseye who are in touch with various professors in Delhi University, they are the ones who have curated the syllabus, and it is expected that the syllabus will be on these lines. So, well, let's begin our quant strategy section, our quant strategy to crack the CUCET exam. So, the topics for discussion. So, the topics of discussion. What topics are we going to talk about today? So, they are going to be number one, numerical ability, algebra, averages, clocks and calendars, percentage, that will include profit and loss as well as interest, discount and mark price, they are also a part under this section, the ratio, that is ratio and proportion, and last but not the least, a topic whose one part is considered very easy by the students while the other part is considered equally difficult, and that is time and distance and time and work. So coming on to the very first section, that is the numerical ability. So in numerical ability, uh, it is a section that the students are probably studying right on from the first standard, and they have been taught about what are different whole numbers and natural numbers. So just a very quick review. So natural numbers are those numbers that start from the number 1 and move on to infinity, that is 1, 2, 3, 10, 100, 1000, million, billion, trillion, and it can go on. Whole numbers are different from natural numbers in the sense that apart from all the natural numbers, they also contain zero as one of its element. So next is the factors as well as the multiples. So what are the factors? Factors are those numbers that that are obtained after you divide any number. For example, if a number is 18, so its factors are going to be 2 and 3, or you can, subsequently you can also write 2 and 9, the numbers that make up that number. And similarly is the multiples. In a simple sense, the factors, when they get multiplied, form the multiples, meaning for so if a number is 18, so its factors are going to be 2 and 3, and its multiples are going to be 18 twos are 36 or 54, and in that sense. So this is a basic difference between factors and multiples. Then we come on to a very, just a second. Then we come on to the fact prime numbers and composite numbers. So prime numbers are those numbers that have factors as digit 1 and the number itself. For example, 7. So the factors of 7 are 1 and 7. Similarly, factors of the number 23. So the factors are 1 and 23. So such numbers, they are called prime numbers. 2 is the only even prime number. You might have heard about it. Rest all the even numbers, they are divisible by 2. It is just 2 that is a prime number. The rest all have 2 as their as one of their factors. And composite numbers, of course, all those numbers who have more than 2 factors of 1 and the number itself. For example, 10, it has factors 2, 5, 10. 1, 4 factors. Similarly, 50, 21, so such kind. Many students, they get confused between odd numbers and prime numbers. Well, yes, most of the odd numbers, they are prime numbers, but not all the odd numbers are prime numbers. For example, number 21. For example, number 15. 3, 5, 1 and 15. But yes, all the prime numbers, they are odd numbers. I hope you understood the concept, because all the even numbers, they will have 2 as one of their factors. Moving on, the divisibility by 2 by all these numbers. So how can you check whether a number is divisible by 2? A number is divisible by 2 if it has, yes, I'm expecting an answer. If all the students who are currently listening to this session, please type how do you find whether a number is divisible by 2 or not. So how to find whether a number is divisible by 3? So the number is divisible by 3 if the sum is divisible by 3. For example, number 18, 1 and 8, it gives 9, meaning 9 is divisible by 3, so 18 is divisible by 3. Similarly, 45, it makes 9 in that sense. Number 4, how is a number divisible by 4? A number is considered to be divisible by 4 if the last two digits of that number are either double zeros or they are divisible by 4 itself. So for example, number 196. So since 96 is divisible by 4, so 196 will be divisible by 4. Number 5, the units digit must be 0 or 5. For number 6, units digit must be units digit must be either 2. The number should either be divisible by 2 or it should be divisible by 3. It should be divisible by both the numbers, only then it is considered as divisible by 6. Similarly, the rest of numbers, for 8, the last 3 digits should either be 0 or the last 3 digits should be divisible by 8. For the number 9, the sum of all the numbers, that should be divisible by 9. For number 10, the units digit must be 0. And for 11, well, 11 has a very interesting thing that I am going to tell you. For number 121, whether number 121 is divisible by 11 or not. So you have to take the sum of digits in the units at odd places, and you have to find the difference of that with the numbers that are present at the even places, that is even as well as odd. You sum them and then take a difference. That is how you will find whether they are divisible by 11 or not. So either that answer should be 0 or the number should be divisible by 11. So in the case of 121, so 1 plus 1 is 2 and this number is 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. Since the number is 0, 121 is divisible by 11. Similarly, let's take another example, 1, 3, 3, 1. So we have 1 and 3 is 4. 1 and 3 is 4. You subtract them, the number is 0, meaning 1331 is divisible by 11. You can take some more numbers, and if you will check, this is how you will find how most of the numbers, they are divisible by the numbers that I have given. So fractions, what are all the fractions that I've written? When any natural number is represented in the form a upon b, I'm saying natural a whole number such that you can take a natural number or a whole number in the sense where b is not equal to 0, that is, it will make that to infinity. Only in that case it is called a fraction. So what are a proper fraction? A proper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is lesser than the denominator. For example, 3 by 7. What is an improper fraction? When the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay, so let's say 17 by 15, right? Similarly, moving ahead, mixed fraction. So a mixed fraction, like whenever we say I'm going to have a 2.5 portions of the pizza today, so that 2.5 is called a mixed fraction. So how do we write it into fractions? 2 into 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So it is in fact 5 by 2. So 2 complete portions and half of the last portion. This is how we write the mixed fractions, right? Moving on to the equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions are those that are obtained after you multiply both the numerator as well as the denominator by the same number. So 1 by 2, 3 by 6 is its equivalent, 5 by 10 is its equivalent. So such are the equivalent fractions. Like and unlike, whenever the denominator of a fraction of two or more fractions are equal or same, but the numerator is different, at that point of time we call it a like fraction. For example, 3 by 4 and suppose 1 by 4, both of them, they are like fractions. On the other hand, if the denominator is different but the numerator is same, in that sense it is called an unlike fraction. For example, we can say 5 by 7 or 5 by 8. So you can see that the numerator, it might be same, but the denominator, it is different. So in that sense it is an unlike fraction. Then we move on to cubes and squares. Well, whenever you multiply a number 3 times, it's called a cube, and whenever you multiply a number twice, I mean the same time, it is called square. It is a humble suggestion to all the viewers who are currently listening to me to kindly remember all the squares till the number 20 and to remember all the cubes till number 10. Why am I saying so? Because these are those numbers that will come on very handy to you. You would not have to find the squares and cube roots every time you will go and multiply. So this will be very helpful while you are solving the cube root questions or the square root questions. Last but not the least is the exponents. So exponents, whenever you raise a power, as in we can say that you have to multiply that digit that number of times. So when we say a cube, so it means raised to power 3. When we say 5, so this is raised to power 5, meaning 2 into 2 into 2. So that means it is an exponent. Correct? So now we will move on to the questions. Two questions. So you have two questions. While I'm reading the question, I would expect all my young students to solve them side by side, because in the end, of course, I will be the one who will solving it. So please be very quick while we are solving. So area of three fields is 165, 195, 75 meters square respectively. In each of these fields, a flower bed of equal length has to be made. If the flower bed has to be 3 meter wide, find the maximum length of the flower bed in each of the case. Well, so for all these three square fields, what do you need to find? You need to find the highest common factor. What is the highest common factor of all of three? So the highest common factor would be 15. Okay, so 15 meters square is the factor for all these three three square fields. Since 3 is the breadth, so what will be the length? It will be 15 by 3 is 5. So at these whenever you come across such questions, you have to be very careful as to whether you have to find the factor, that is you need to take a minimum number, or you need to find a multiple, that is you need to multiply all those numbers together to arrive at one single number. So next, a milk vendor's customers demand milk in the following quantities: 1000 milliliters, 1600, 2800, 600. If he wants to use a single measuring cup, what size should it be? So what should be the minimum size that he can use, so that he does not have to carry different measuring devices every time he's there. So a very simple reading of this question will make you understand that again HCF here is required. So HCF of all these numbers, these four numbers is 200 milliliters. I hope I am correct. So these are those questions. I'm telling you some very basic questions. These are those questions that you can expect in the CUCET exam in the coming next 2 months. Moving on to the next. Now comes a topic that is always, that is number one, will always help you to score really good marks. So algebra, the very first thing, what are variables? Variables हम किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट को we can define it in simple words as x or y. This will not only help to reduce our calculations, but it will also help in all those in all that time where we need to multiply and divide such kind of numbers. So algebraic expression, whenever you can write any given statement in the form of variables, it is called an algebraic expression. For example, if I say Ram has 10 nails and of some cost, and he has uh, 15 hammers uh, of some other cost. So I can write this as, so the nails are 10 with this x cost and hammers are 15 with this cost. So this can be an algebraic expression, a normal expression that can be expressed in the form of any variables. So polynomial, any algebraic expression that has more than two terms of any power is called a polynomial. जैसे हम इसको लिख सकते हैं किसी भी क्वेश्चन को x raised to power 4 minus 3x square plus 5x minus 1. So this is a polynomial. And what is an equation? When all of this polynomial is equated to 0, it is called an equation. Now coming on to the basic identities of a and b. So I know all of you students would have a very good idea about all the properties, all the basic identities of a and b. So they are a plus b whole square, a square plus b square plus 2 ab, a minus b whole square, a square plus b square minus 2ab, a plus b. The third is a plus b and a minus b. So it is a square minus b square. Similarly, we have it for cube and so on and so forth. So these are some very basic identities that I suggest all my students to remember. Moving on to the next. So these are some questions of algebra. While I'm reading, I would expect all of you to keep on calculating. These are some very basic questions just to test out how much basic knowledge do you have. So a man reads 3 by 8 of a book on the first day. Okay, so if I say 3 by 8 of a book on the first day, 4 by 5 of the remainder on second day, if the number of pages still unread are 40, how many pages did the book contain? So let's say the total number of pages are x. So he read 3 by 8 of the pages on the first day and 4/5 of the remainder. So x minus 3 by 8 of x, it gives 5x by 8. On the second day, if the number of pages still unread are 40, how many pages did the book contain? So we write it as 3x by 8, and okay, so 4 by 5 of the remainder. So x by 2, so we write it as x by 2 plus 40 makes x. So you solve this equation for the answer. I would be expecting your answers right now. So if you have got the answer, kindly punch in at this point. The product of 4 consecutive natural numbers is 360. Find the second number. So the 4 consecutive natural numbers can be x minus 1, then it's x plus 1, and x plus 2. So is 360. When you solve this equation, you will find that x is 5. That x comes out to be 6. So the answer is 6. Well, at most of the times when you come across such questions, you can also try a hit and trial method. बहुत बार आपका question hit and trial से ही चले जाता है. For example, when I was reading this question, I realized that all these 4 options, they together form the number 360. So the second number should be 6. I hope I'm correct. So well, moving ahead. So next come is the topic of averages. So since there is just one formula that comes under the heading of averages, I haven't made some specialized slide for this. But for the averages, a very simple formula to find the averages is for the average total of that quantity by the number it contains. Meaning if there are 50 students in the class and each one of them, suppose student 1 has the weight 20, student 2 has the weight 25, 3 has the weight 22, 4 has the weight in that very similar fashion. So at that point you can use the total, the weight of all the students, you can add all the weight divided by the total number of students, that is 50. So that comes under the heading of averages. So now coming here, the average age of students of class of 44 students is 18. If the age of the teacher be included, then the average increases by 4 months. For 4 months, we can write it as 1 by 3. So 18, it increases by that. So find the age of the teacher. So it increases by age of, so at least it is, so I I have to find. Moving on to the next question. The average age of 6 consecutive odd numbers is 70. What is the difference between the highest and lowest numbers? All the students who are currently listening to me, please type in your answers. The answer is going to take a much of time. So that's why I'm not going to solve it. I would be expecting your answers in the comment section. So yes. So clocks and calendars. So many a time we can, a student, he can also expect a question regarding the clocks as well as calendars. So what is the speed of the minute hand? A clock is, कोई भी clock, it covers an angle of 360 degree when it makes a complete circle. And since the minute, it is divided into 12 equal parts, so each part sweeps an area of 30 degrees. As the minute hand takes a complete round of 360 in 1 hour, its speed is 6 degrees per minute. Similarly, for the speed of the hour hand, an hour hand covers 360 degree in 12 hours. This implies that it covers 30 degree in 60 minutes. So the speed is half a degree per minute, and the relative speed comes out to be, you subtract both of them, 6 degrees minus 0.5 degrees, it gives 5.5 degrees per minute. So now we have a question. So for the calendar, an ordinary year has a 365 days. When we divide it by 7, it gives an answer of 52. Meaning that it has, an ordinary year में 52 weeks and 1 extra day रहता है. And in the leap year, we have 366 days, that is 2 extra days. So whenever you are going to find the answers, always remember that 0 means Sunday, and the answer of 1 always means Monday, and so on and so forth. So clock is set right at 8 a.m. The clock gains 10 minutes in 24 hours. What will be the true time when the clock indicates 1 p.m. the next day? I'll wait for 10 seconds and then I'll do this question. Come on. Type in your answer so that I can know you are currently doing this question. So yes, I'll start doing it. So in 24 hours, so from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is set right at 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It means 5 hours extra. So 29, 24 plus 5 hours extra is 29 hours. So 24 hours and 10 minutes of this clock means 24 hours of the correct clock. So for 29 hours of a total, so the difference comes out to be 24 1 by 6 into 29. So that comes out to be 28. That comes out to be 28 hours and uh, and 48 minutes. So meaning that out of 29, there is a difference of 12 minutes. So when the clock indicates 1 p.m. on the next day, the real time is 12 minutes less, that is 12:48 p.m. This is how you solve the questions. You know that May 10, 1999 was a Monday. So what will be the day on 10th of December next year? So 10th May 99 was Sunday. 10th May 2000 would be would not be Tuesday, it would be Wednesday. Why? Because the year 2000, it's a leap year. So May 10, 2000 would be a Wednesday. Now, and for 2001, it would be Thursday. Now we will calculate the time, the days, the number of days between May 10, 2001 to 10th of December 2001, and that is how we will arrive at this answer. So now coming on to the percentage, profit, loss and interest. This is one of the very interesting topics, और बहुत students की इसमें गलतियां होती हैं. चाहे ये टॉपिक बहुत इजी है, बट सिली मिस्टेक्स always renders them lesser marks. So be very be very attentive while you are solving this topic, because direct questions रहते हैं and you can get very good marks while you are attempting this section. So percentage. So first of all, what is percentage? So out of the total, the amount that you currently have from 100 is called the percentage. Meaning हमने 10th standard में अपनी percentage निकाली है, 12th में निकाली है. So out of 500 marks, if I get 400 marks, so what is my percentage? My percentage is 80 marks. So 400 by 500 into 100, we get it 80 marks. Right? So this is how we arrive at percentages. So percentage increase or decrease, you have to find the increase or decrease divided by the original and then into 100. For example, there was a place where originally 150 lakh people were staying. After 10 years, it was found that now only 100 lakh people are staying. So what is the percentage increase or decrease? So first of all, it is decrease, of course. So you subtract them, it is 50. So the percentage decrease is 50. And what was the original? 150. 50 by 150 upon 100 is 33, 1 by 3%. Easy, wasn't it? So now coming on to the profit and loss interest part. Simple interest. So what is the principal? Principal is the original amount of money जो आपके पास है. Rate, what is the amount per 100 जो आपसे charge किया जाएगा for using that money. Time is the amount of time, कितने साल, and it is always calculated in years. Whenever you are given months, be very careful to calculate it in the years. And SI, that is the interest, it is always used to find out how much extra money you owe someone for using their money for a stipulated period of time. So simple interest is P into R into T divided by 100. Now coming on to the formula of CI, that is compound interest, that is P1 plus R by 100 raised to the power n. So this is the amount, and if you are supposed to find the compound interest, you have to subtract P. So what is the basic difference between compound interest as well as simple interest? So if I have 100 rupees and I say for 10%, I'm going to give someone this money. So in the very first year, that person is going to owe me 10 rupees. In second year, he is again going to owe me 10. In third, he is again, because the principal remains the same. So at the end of third year, the simple interest comes out to be 30 rupees, a simple addition. लेकिन compound interest के अंदर क्या different होता है कि this interest gets added here in the principal and it becomes 110. So this is a new principal, and now simple interest would be found on that. After an interest has been found, that probably gives out to be 11. So उसको इस चीज के अंदर ऐड करके it becomes 121. So इस तरीके से interest gets added up into the principal, new principal is arrived, and then interest is levied. So this is the difference between compound interest and simple interest. Coming on to profit and loss. So selling price, when selling price is more less and cost price is less, if I sell an object for 10 rupees और मैंने उसे खरीदा 8 रुपए का था, तो ऑफ कोर्स मेरा प्रॉफिट हुआ 2 रुपए का. एंड ऑन दी अदर हैंड, अगर मैंने कोई चीज 10 रुपए की खरीदी बट मार्केट में भी डिमांड नहीं है और वो मुझे 5 रुपए की बेचनी पड़ रही है, तो ये मेरा लॉस है. I lose money by 5 rupees. Similarly, coming on to the marked price and discount. So marked price, अगर एक दुकानदार किसी एक चीज को after he buys that and then he decides to sell it on the marked price, that is the amount of price labeled on that product, it is called a marked price. And discount, many times a seller, they offer a reduction in the amount so as to attract more buyers, so that is called a discount. And discount is MP minus SP, that is आपने कितना फाइनल आपने सेलिंग प्राइस दिया और आपने उसका कितना मार्क प्राइस रखा. I hope I am correct. I am clear. So here are some questions. So yes, let's start solving them. A certain sum of money becomes thrice in 10 years at a certain rate of interest. It will become how many times in 20 years at the same interest? So let the sum be P and it becomes thrice, that is 3, just a second, it becomes thrice, that is 3P in 10 years. So the interest comes out to be 3P into 10 into 20%. So the interest comes out to be 4P. It will become how many times in 20 years at the same interest? So this is the interest, principal is P, the amount is 4P plus P, it comes out to be 5P, meaning that it becomes, the sum becomes 5 times, the sum becomes 5 times in 20 years. Moving ahead, find the compound interest on 20,000 at the rate of 10% interest, a direct formula based question. Once you put the formula in that very, once you put the numbers in that very formula, you will arrive at this answer. And last is a dealer prices an article at 20% more than the cost price and allows a discount of 10% on it. Find the gain percent. Okay, let's suppose the cost price is 100. So dealer prices at 20% more. So so the marked price becomes 120. Discount of 10% on it. So discount is 10%. So the new SP, the new SP becomes 90% of 120, 90, 100, 12, 108. So the profit comes out to be 120 minus 108, which gives 8. So it was a total of an initial of 100. So it gives out a gain percentage of 8%. Easy questions. Aren't they? Now coming on to the ratios. So comparison of one number with another is known as ratio. So ratio, it will never have any unit. It always means how you compare two things together. For example, if I get 20 marks in a test and a friend of mine gets 40 marks, so I would say the ratio of our marks is 1:2. There are no units. That is, that person, he has got twice the number of marks that I have got. Similarly, this is one of a very important formulas that I think you must remember. That is why I found it and I wrote it here. So the formula of componendo and dividendo. If A by B is equal to C by D, many a times you have also algebra in such kind of questions, so you can apply it there. So using it can be used in this sense. rather than solving all the question right on from the beginning, you can apply this formula of componendo and dividendo. Variation. Next is the variation as an what we call the proportion, direct and inverse variation. So what is a direct variation? So if when a person works for 10 days, he gets a salary of, let's say, 14,000 rupees. So when he works for 20 days, how much salary will he get? So for less days gets less salary, and for more days he will get more salary. So this is a question of direct variation. So for 20 days he will get a salary of 28,000, isn't it? That is direct variation. And what is an inverse variation? So if 8 men are working and they finish a work in 10 days, how much work will 4 men finish? So when more men are there, the days are less. When men are less, the days will increase to be more. Isn't that? Because they have to put in more effort. So the number of days are 20. So this is an inverse variation, right? So now we have the questions. Please solve it while I'm speaking. So the salaries of Rajat and Suman are in the ratio 2:3. Okay, we write 2x plus 3x. If the salary, okay, if the salary of each is increased by 4,000, okay, the new ratio becomes 40/57. You can solve it to get the answer. So moving on to the next. A jar full of whiskey contains, let me wipe it out. A jar full of whiskey contains 40% alcohol. A part of whiskey is replaced by another containing 19% alcohol, and now the percentage of alcohol was found to be 26%. What is the quantity of whiskey replaced? So 19 and 26. So for solution 1, it's 19%, and the final just a second, and the final comes out to be 40%. The percentage that is required is 26%. Fine. So we subtract them. So 26 minus 19 is 26 is, so 26, and here it is 14. 26 minus 19 is 7, and 14 is here. So 7 is to 14, or 1 is to 2. So that is the final quantity of the mixture, and what is required is the quantity of whiskey replaced. So out of the 3 parts, the replaced is 2. So this is the answer. Great, isn't it? And now we move on to our final, last but not the least, that section that that teases a student a lot, because इसमें time and distance तो के questions student से बहुत easily solve हो जाते हैं, but work is something that that confuses the student, और बहुत बच्चे इस topic को हमेशा छोड़ जाते हैं, even though it is one of the easiest one. I'll tell you the technique today, this time. So the technique of chain rule is applicable in the case of work where 2 or more components are given. Similarly, then it is distance is equal to speed into time. You can arrive on to more and more formulas using that. So distance is speed into time, speed is distance by time, and similarly time is distance by speed. So when 2 objects, they are moving in the same direction, the relative speed is the difference. आपने बहुत बार ये notice किया होगा, when 2 trains are moving on 2 different tracks and they are moving at the same speed, तो आप जब भी उस ट्रेन के अंदर बैठे किसी भी एक ऑब्जेक्ट को या किसी एक पर्सन को देख रहे होगे, तो you would find कि that person is sitting stationary. Why? Because the relative speed of both these 2 trains is 0. Similarly, आप जब कभी ट्रेन में जा रहे हैं and you find कि सामने से ट्रेन आ रही है, and when it crosses, वो इतनी फास्ट निकलती है, हमें लगता है कि it is traveling at more than 200 kilometers per hour, jabki in reality the relative speed it gets added up. So that is something that you have to remember. Similarly, in the questions of upstream, द स्ट्रीम हमेशा जब भी कभी अपस्ट्रीम और डाउनस्ट्रीम के क्वेश्चंस आपको दिए जाते हैं उसके अंदर दो आपको स्पीड्स दी जाती हैं, स्पीड ऑफ द बोट एंड स्पीड ऑफ द स्ट्रीम. Always remember that the speed of the boat will always be greater than the speed of stream. तभी वो ऊपर जा पाएगी. So when the speed of the downstream, जब बोट नीचे आ रही होगी उस टाइम पर speed of the boat and stream will be added because both are coming in the same direction. On the other hand, जब बोट को opposite direction में जाना है तो speed will be subtracted. So my final set of questions. If 80 men can do a piece of work in 10 days, working 6 hours a day, how many hours a day would 100 men have to work in order to do another piece of work twice as great in 12 days? So simply writing this thing down. How? So I write here men. So 80 men can do a piece of work. Okay, can do a piece of work in 10 days. Just a second, let me write it again. 80 men can do a piece of work in 10 days, working 6 hours a day. How many hours a day would 100 men have to work in order to do another piece of work twice as great in 12 days? So we have to find this time. So how do we find this time? It is 6 into, so when men is less, so when the number of men will increase, the time will decrease. So since we have to go to a lower fraction, we do it in this sense, right? Similarly, when more days meaning less time, again you have to put it in this sense. On the other hand, more work would mean more time. So since it is more, you put it in this sense. So 6. So the answer is 8. This method is easy this way, isn't it? And last is, a boat takes 2.5 hours less to travel 100 kilometer downstream than to travel 75 kilometer upstream. Okay. If the speed of the current is 5 kilometers per hour, find the speed of boat in still water. So so speed, let the speed of boat be x. When it is coming downstream, so this is the speed, and when it is going upstream, this is the speed. So now finding out, putting it into the formula. So since when it has to go upstream, the time would of course be more. So 75 by x minus 5 minus, it comes 100 kilometers downstream, and the time is 2.5 hours. So 25 by 10, it is 5 by 2. So you can now solve this equation to arrive at this answer. So these are all the topics. If you are looking for a personal, some topic that you find it to be very important and you want a help in, I would suggest you to please put it down in the comment section. Next time, whenever we are here, we will put a discussion on that topic. Till then, stay tuned and keep listening to us. Keep following Hitbullseye, because we will be coming out with the new content for the CUCET exam every other day. You can keep following us. We are very closely following the CUCET exam. हमें पता है कि दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी की entrance के लिए this exam is going to be a trump card. So we'll be doing everything to help you out and coming to Delhi University. So till then, take care and keep following us. Goodbye.